Hi there, welcome to Neppy Invest. Who likes almonds? Yeah, uh, yeah, I'll put my hand up, I suppose. Anyway, so I'm going to look at Select Harvest today. This is a company, a fairly unique company on the ASX, definitely the only almond growing company on the ASX. So this is a company that grows almonds and has almond products like almond milk, almond muesli or something, I don't know. So this is a company I'm going to look at, and there's a specific reason why I'm looking at this company right now, and it's because of the price of almonds. So let's get stuck into Select Harvest. Let's have a look at this company and decide whether or not this company is a buy. So Select Harvest, they are actually a virtually integrated nut and health food company. That's straight from the website, so I've got to believe it if it's on their website. So not only do they produce or grow almonds, they also have almond-related products like almond milk, this Sunsol Kids probiotic, whatever it is, strawberry and apple crunch. I'm not even sure what that is. So they have almond-related products. They are the second largest global almond producer in the world. Probably should have said in the world, because when I said global, that means in the world. So second largest, now 80% or something like 85% of all almonds are grown in California. So, and then we have another large area of growth in Australia, because you need certain climatic or climate conditions to grow almond trees. They have about 23,000 acres of almond orchards in Australia, all in this, nearly all in the same sort of area. And when I first started researching Select Harvest, I thought, why don't they diversify outside this, this region? But there is a reason. They're all in the same sort of area. And I've already mentioned they produce almond products. That's called the food division. So they are diversified, not just almond growing business. They do other stuff with almonds as well. And this is just a map of where they do have some orchids, almond tree orchids in Australia. So it's in the sort of the Riverina area along the Murray River into Victoria and South Australia. So ideal climates in those areas to grow almonds. I'll get into that, why that is in a second. So almond trees are indigenous to Iran, but they've found that California has the best climate to grow almonds. So 80% of all almonds are grown in California, which means because they're all grown in the same sort of area, if the climate is perfect for almond growth, we're going to see a surplus of supply of almonds on the market, which would depress the price of almonds, and that's happened this year. We had a record production of almonds the past year, and that suppressed the price of almonds, which is negative for Select Harvest, because they would prefer that price of almonds to be through the roof. Anyway, almond trees thrive in a Mediterranean climate, and that sort of climate apparently is that sort of climate you see on this map in Australia. So sort of the Griffith area, Loxton in South Australia, towards Mildura or near Mildura, that sort of area is apparently perfect for growing orchid trees. You also need a period of temperatures lower than 7 degrees, because apparently the almond tree becomes dormant, and cold temperatures sort of gets it out of its dormancy, just like if, a cold day, it just wakes you up because it's really cold. I don't know why. But anyway, that's the reason why almond trees can't grow in tropical areas, because you need temperatures lower than 7 degrees. But conversely, you can't have frost, so frosts are bad for almond trees, although frosts are bad for a lot of growing stuff. So that's probably not unique to just almond trees. One of the really interesting things I learned about almond trees is the managed pollination. So the California almond tree managed pollination is the largest managed pollination event in the world. The amount of beehives they have to move over to California to pollinate the almond trees is quite remarkable. And they do the same thing in Australia. You have to take all these beehives to this area, or the almond tree area, to pollinate the almond trees. It was really fascinating when I was reading that. I didn't realize this sort of thing happens. They have created a tree that doesn't need this, but it's not the preferred almond tree. So the almond tree that needs pollination is the preferred tree among almond growers. Now let's get to the financial year results. So share price when I did this presentation was on the 7th of December, so that's $5.31, and that's near a low, yearly low anyway. Market cap 513 million, shares on issue almost 100 million. Now they are increasing the almond volume. You definitely see that increase between financial year 18 and 19 on the left there. And that's because they are increasing the amount of orchids they have. And then right next to that, we have the almond price. You can just see it fluctuate from year to year. So last year it was $8.60, then this year it's pulled back to $7.50. It doesn't seem a lot, but when you compare it to the net profit after tax, you can see a massive difference between when the almond prices are a little bit high, or $1 higher than they are now, to where they are now. So last year they had net profit after tax of $53 million, and this year it's only $25 million. So you can just see the financial performance of Select Harvest is highly correlated to the almond prices. And unfortunately for Select Harvest, they have really no control over the almond prices unless they sabotage the California almond orchids, which, they wouldn't do that. Of course not. No, never. They also see the total almond production costs go down a bit. So that's something they do have control over, is the production costs. So the way to look at Select Harvest is like a miner, and really it's pretty obvious when you think about it, because a miner has a commodity, underlying commodity they mine, while Select Harvest also has a commodity, which is almonds. So they both have commodities. So commodities is just something we need, and the companies their financial performance, a mining company and Select Harvest financial performance is highly correlated or dependent on the underlying price of the commodity they're mining or harvesting. So just like a mining company, Select Harvest are a price taker, and it's all about the commodity cycle. I'm pretty sure even almonds have a commodity cycle, because if the price of almonds went through the roof, say to $15, you're going to see a lot more almond growers enter the market. But it does take a while for almond trees to grow and become productive. I think it's 3 years before they become productive, and then another 3 or 4 years before they become mature. So it does take a while. And I think that's sort of similar to mining. You just can't start mining gold because the price is high. It takes a while before you have to start mining, or you can start mining gold. But anyway, I think I'm rambling right now. Some of the other factors to consider when you're thinking of buying into Select Harvest, or a company like Select Harvest, is the water cost. So they need a lot of water to grow almonds, and there is a bit of cost. They can see a water cost $21.5 million in a year. So they do have a strategy for water and trying to decrease the amount of water costs. Almond prices, I've already mentioned this. Almond price is going to be highly related to how much production is done in California. So they had a boom boom almond production last year. That's why the price of almonds have really decreased. The other thing you have to take into account is frost mitigation. So you have the cold temperatures in the areas of Australia where they grow almonds, but they have to mitigate frost because frost does occur in that area. And they bought 100 plus frost fans. So go Select Harvest. And this is just the orchids they have. So they have immature orchids which start harvesting in the third year, the third leaf. And then in the fourth, fifth leaf, they're still not mature. And once they become mature, that's when they get full production out of it. So this is really interesting for me, something I've learned about almond tree production. It takes 6 or 7 years before they get into full production, or full producing, or full harvesting, whatever you want to call it. One thing I really like to look is at least 15-year results, if a company does have it. And this is their 15-year results. So you can see the share price right down the bottom there. It just fluctuates, goes up and down. You can see in 2006, when almond prices were quite high, share price was $11.50, all the way down to $1.83, $1.29 in 2011-12. And then it shot up in 2015 to $11, and then it went down again. So that's just correlated to the almond prices. And in a slide or two, I'll show you the correlation there. And similar things with revenue, profit, and operating cash flow. You just see it fluctuating, all based off the price of almonds. So what you want to do with Select Harvest is try to get in at the bottom of the cycle when almond prices are the lowest, which they are now. That's when you want to buy, and then sell when the almond prices are at the highest, or near the highest. So this is the 5-year weekly chart. You can see going back to 2015. Excuse my dogs are starting to play. If you go back to 2015, you can see the price of Select Harvest was $13. That's when the price of almonds was at its peak. Then the price of almonds started to pull back. The share price went down all the way down to $4, and that seemed to be the low when the almond prices was the lowest. Share price then went up, and then last year or so, the share price has been hitting $5 or $5.20 or something, and it's been bouncing off that, and that's where the show price is right now. So we seem to be at the low end of the share price. You might say $4 is the low, but because they're increasing the amount of orchids, you should see the share price be a little bit higher because the amount of production is actually increasing. So they should be getting a little bit more profit out of that. So this is the correlation between Select Harvest share price and the almond prices. So this is the chart going back 10 years, and this is the almond price going back 10 years. And you can just see how it's correlated. You can see that massive peak in almond prices in 2015, and that's where the share price of Select Harvest got to $13. And then the almond prices fell back a lot in a very short period of time, in about a year or so, and that's where we saw the trough in the Select Harvest share price. And then you can see the almond prices right now are at a 10-year low, and that's why I'm interested in Select Harvest right now, because we are seeing almond prices at a 10-year low because of the record or bumper almond harvest they had in California last year. So this is a company I'm interested in just because it's at the bottom of the cycle, and I'm always interested in, even if it's a mining company or an almond grower, always interested in buying one of those sort of companies at the bottom of the commodity cycle, and that's where Select Harvest is right now. So that's all I got for Select Harvest. Is it time to buy this almond company? I think it's heading in that direction. A good time to buy, because unless we see another few bumper crops of almonds in California, the share price and the price of almonds should go up from here on in. That's the thesis, that's the theory. Doesn't always play out like that. We could see suppressed prices in almonds for a few years now, which would not be good for Select Harvest, but at least they're profitable, at least they have cash coming in the door. So that's all for this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Now, even though you might think I've given you some advice, you shouldn't think of anything I've said in this video as advice, because it's not advice. I can't give you advice. It's illegal. So everything I've talked about in this video is research, entertainment, and educational purposes. And if you do need some financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who's qualified and knows what they're talking about, and they can speak to your own financial circumstances. That's all for this video. Have a good day. Bye.